10, 35, 37, 73, 174, 201, and 232 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, the various sections of the Public Finance Management Act 2012, and in the spirit of alternative dispute resolution propagated by the Constitution, the Governor, Nakuru County, and his entire cabinet are invited to a public accountability meeting where you will respond to the report on an issue-to-issue basis. Toward this end, the meeting resolved that the public accountability meeting is held 14 days from the date of the meeting, i.e. on 10th November 2015 at the Old Town Hall. 2, that the Governor instructs the County Executive Committee member for Finance and all the other members to bring along all documents relevant to questions, the questioned expenditures to the meeting to validate the explanations. 3, that should the accountability meeting not materialize on the stated date, and should the Governor fail to proffer a plausible reason for the same, the People's Accountability Forum shall resort to other legal and constitutional mechanisms to pursue the agenda of the meeting. We are deeply concerned that on Tuesday 10th November 2015 has come and gone without any response from the county government. To us, this shows the kind of callousness, if not impunity, and contempt Kinuthi Mbogo's administration treats the people of Nakuru with. As a people committed to slaying the dragon of corruption and impunity, we're not going to stop at anything. The Nakuru County Accountability Forum convened yesterday and resolved as follows: that we're going to write to the Senate and other independent offices, such as the ombudsman, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, the Director of Public Prosecution, to demand expeditious action on those bearing responsibility of misappropriation of resources and abuse of office in the light of the Auditor General's report. 2, we write to the development partners, such as the European Union, the World Bank, Danida, the German Bank, SIDA, and urge them to withdraw their support to programs in the county until the county government is accountable. Seek legal redress through courts. A petition is currently being drawn to collect signatures from the residents of Nakuru, from all the corners of Nakuru County. 4, we are going to embark on massive mobilization of resources and residents on the county to pursue actions prescribed in the Article 37 of the Constitution. And lastly, we are going to write a complaint letter to IPOA on the apparent conspiracy between the police and the county government of Nakuru to silence the demands of accountability from the county government. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so there we are. As you see, we have made this from the beginning. We do not intend to take such drastic actions as we are taking. One of the things we'll be seeking through the courts is to have the accounts of the county government frozen, because we cannot continue drawing monies to spend them in the manner it's being spent. This action is definitely going to have far-reaching implications on the lives of the people of Nakuru. We still extend an olive branch to the governor and his people to consider ADR as a mechanism to ensure such serious issues are addressed by the people of Nakuru collectively with this administration. We note with concern the development partners have actually raised issues with regard to how public resources are spent across the country. It's only the other day when ambassadors from various countries read a statement, indeed read a riot act, that they are going to sanction corrupt individuals and issue travel advisories. Nakuru County is not out of the woods. So our intention, and this letter is currently being drawn by our lawyers to write development partners, is so as we ensure any money that comes to the county in the name of the people of Nakuru is going to put into good use. This is another drastic action that would have been avoided had the governor of Nakuru being responsive and are deep in honorable enough in the spirit of the Constitution that he swore to uphold, in the spirit of the preamble of the Constitution, that puts the people of Nakuru, people of Kenya first, are deep in honorable enough to honor that constitution so as to come and address these issues. We are not going to take this very drastic step that we've been forced to take. So the ball is in his court. We call upon the leadership of Nakuru County in general. We have up to 11 members of the National Assembly. The constitution is clear. The role of the National Assembly is to hold the executive to account. They cannot afford to continue sitting on the fence when our economy is being ripped apart by corruption, nepotism, and other malpractices that are spelled out in the various laws. So we are calling upon the members of the National Assembly from all the 11 sub-counties of Nakuru to come forth and hold this government to account. They have an express legal, constitutional mandate to do so. Where we note that the PAC, Public Accounts Committee of the Senate, is already acting on this matter, would wish to urge them to move with speed and to make public the reports that the governor of Nakuru is sharing with them, so that we are able as a people to validate those reports, because we are aware that as we speak, they have cooked up, explanations to explain some of the findings that the Auditor General has made. So we urge the Senate, precisely the Public Accounts Committee of the Senate, to make public any documentation that the governor might have shared with them, so that we are able as a people to say, yes, this is true, yes, this is not true. We could as well urge the Senate committee to come here to the ground, in light of the fact that the governor is callous and appears to be rude on the surface of it. Would urge the Senate subcommittee to come and hold part of the hearings here in Nakuru, so that the people of Nakuru have opportunity to demystify some of the lies that they're being told about this report. That to us is going to go a long way in ensuring that moving forward, people are more energized to hold their government to account. Where at it, we are seeking partnerships with all organizations, including faith-based organizations. We will briefly be holding a meeting with all stakeholders in Nakuru, including the leadership of political parties, because we are aware some of these people are in office courtesy of the political parties that sponsored them. We have a law in this country called the Political Parties Act that clearly talks about how members of political parties should behave. We feel very strongly that the leadership of political parties have a responsibility to hold to account the members they sponsor to government. So we're going to hold a multi-sectoral, a multi-stakeholder meeting to chart mechanisms of mobilizing all residents of Nakuru from the grassroots level all the way from Waseges to Mainaro, so that this demand echoes across the county. This is not something that is going to stop, even amidst threats coming from the police, threats coming from the county executive that my colleagues are going to be speaking to. So lest they forget, the people of Nakuru are not going to lie low. The people of Nakuru are not going to be intimidated. We are willing to go an extra mile to ensure that individuals that have been mentioned in this report are held to account. We've received the report for the county assembly. As we expected, the findings therein are as worrying as the findings in the executive report. We are analyzing the report on how the assembly spent their money, and very shortly we'll be calling you with our own analysis and what we feel ought to be done to ensure that the conspiracy that we see taking place between the executive and the assembly is brought to an end. Because as it is now, the assembly is not performing its oversight role. We have no iota of hope that the assembly is going to hold the county executive in Nakuru to account. We have no hope at all, because they are parts of the same feather, and we therefore expect them to continue in this cover-up. So probably we'll allow 2 of our colleagues, 3 or 4, to highlight on a few issues, and if you have any questions to raise, we'll respond.
I think
Yes.
Can you estimate probably how much you might have lost as a county?
We are talking about 0.7 of a billion. We are talking about 700 million on the part of the executive alone. So if we go to the assembly, we could be talking about 1 billion. Money that is enough to tarmac roads in free, 2 roads in free Ode State, which is a CPD as we speak. But the condition of infrastructure is as dilapidated as you know. So this is the kind of money we're talking about, and that's why the taxpayers of Nakuru must come out and demand that the men and women who are responsible for the wastage are held to account. We cannot continue sitting on the fence. It's not right.
I think in addition, maybe I would like to say that the Nakuru residents, people have right to know what they are demanding about the Auditor General's report. And I would like to condemn very strongly that after we left this place, after 2 days also, some of the Nakuru residents also tried to exercise that their freedom of expression. And I think there was a group which also tried to surprise them and beat them up and tore their whatever cuts they were calling. And I think the county government should know that they are not going to silence people with those thugs or hooliganism. So I say that also the police should protect everybody. There is freedom of expression and people have to exercise it.
Thank you so much.
My name is Nyayo Gardens from Nakuru County. Come from Jerusalem County. The issue I want to talk about is about insecurity. I don't know who is above the law, because as we held our demonstration peacefully, a group of hooliganism paid by the county government tried to intimidate us due to our right of fighting about corruption and also misuse of our public resources. We will say that that was our error that have been passed, na sisi kama wananchi wa Nakuru County hatutakubali kikundi kimoja ambacho kinatumika na ofisi kuu ya governor kukuja kututhreaten. Sisi hatutarudi nyuma. We are the taxpayers, tunaishi Nakuru, na we are much concerned about our development of Nakuru County. So the moment we see the misuse of our resources, lazima tutachukua jukumu ya kutetea wananchi wezetu. Na hali ya mambo ya insecurity, kuna mambo ambayo tunashangaa, who is above the law? Because some few days ago tumejaribu kuomba permit ya kufanya peaceful demonstration, na tunashangaa OCPD akituambia kwamba hatutapewa barua kwa sababu ya mambo ya insecurity. Sisi tumesema hatutarudi nyuma, na we won't give anyone nafasi ya kuja kutuintimidate. Lazima tutatetea wananchi wezetu. Sisi ndio walipa ushuru wa Nakuru County, na lazima tutahakikisha ya kwamba every coins ambayo Auditor General Bwana Edward Ouko lazima ikuwe accounted. Ni mbaya sana kuona ya kwamba governor mwenyewe out of 27 vehicles yake peke yake ndio iko na logbook. So sisi kama wananchi wa Nakuru County walipa ushuru, tunauliza where are those money? Tunapata ya kwamba they are ghost workers, ambapo hatutakubali kuwapa nafasi hii Nakuru County. We are intimidated na turudi nyuma, and let them be aware that hata kama they ignored our yesterday meeting, public meeting, lazima tutaendelea. We have forwarded our grievances to the IPOA and also to the Senate, na lazima tutaendelea kupigania haki za wananchi na tuhakikishe ya kwamba pesa ambazo sisi zinazotolewa ushuru ambao mwananchi anatoa imetumika vizuri.
Thank you so much. Maybe there are a few questions you want to raise.
Maybe you have said something about the logbooks, the county government record.
Yeah.
Maybe you are saying only that for the governor is registered. We just wanted to know maybe what about the others who are registered under whose name?
According to the report by the Auditor General, by the time the Auditor General was conducting the audit, only one of the 27 vehicles that had been procured by the county government was legally registered, had a logbook. And that vehicle belong to the governor. And apparently that's the vehicle that had been procured by the Transitional Authority. You are all aware that during the period between March for the elections, the Transitional Authority was responsible for ensuring that all infrastructure necessary for smooth transition was put in place. So they're the ones who had bought those vehicles. Subsequent to that, the county government bought other vehicles, but those vehicles had not been legally registered. One can only hope that between that period and now, those vehicles have been duly registered. And that's the kind of clarification Governor Kinuthia Mbugua and his team should find very easy to make, because all that it takes is just to present copies of the logbook. They'll see you can't buy a vehicle today and have it registered tomorrow. We spent time, by the time Ouko came here, we had not registered, that's true, but we've since taken measures to have the vehicles registered. That's a procedural, administrative, simple as I stated, that Governor Kinuthia Mbugua should not be shy to explain to the people of Nakuru. And then there's a question about paying people debts, inherited debtors. The law was very clear. The Transition to County Governments Act 2012, the Transitional Authority had the express mandate of preparing an inventory of assets, liabilities for the county governments before those assets and liabilities could be transferred to county governments. That exercise of preparing that inventory was conducted last year, 2014, and actually the report was finalized early this year, 2015. How come that the county government of Nakuru, as early as 2013, was able to selectively identify some debtors that they ended up paying up to 261 million shillings. Who are these debtors? What informed? What criteria did they use to select the debtors they paid in that year, given that the Transitional Authority had not prepared the list of debtors that they inherited from the defunct local authorities? So we see this, if you ask me, this to us comes out as patent theft, because unless the county government, Governor Kinuthia Mbugua, came forward to explain to the people of Nakuru that these are the people we paid. This is the debt that we paid, the specifics of the debts. If they constructed a road, it was this road. If they separated these materials, it was these materials. You are all aware that during transitions, a lot of public resources are stolen. We see this to have happened, as the Auditor General says, in Nakuru, because the law was blatantly abused. We do not wait to see the validity of those debts as determined by the Transitional Authority that had the legal mandate. And then the other issue that you might want to wonder loudly about relates to payment of 9 million as penalty. Someone has been employed to submit returns to KRA. That someone does not submit returns for 2 months. And you know what you pay as taxpayers? 9 million as penalty. We pay tax, all of us. I know the cheap explanation they give us is that by the time they were required to submit those returns, the Treasury had not transferred monies to the county treasury here. But we all know, even where I work, if and when we are not having money to submit returns to KRA, we just do a letter to KRA indicating that we are going to delay submission of this month's returns because of ABCD. KRA has never penalized anyone for disclosing, proactive disclosure of financial status. Why couldn't, and I expect anyone working for the county government to be more qualified than I am, than all these people are. How come they sat on their laurels, wasted our 9 million, and nobody has been sacked for that? Governor Kinuthia Mbugua and the assembly here in Nakuru failed terribly in conducting vetting of issues. Because of that, we employed someone who drew 2.6 million from you. And all that happened is that when we made a lot of noise and the people made noise are here, this guy was requested to step aside. He went. Nobody moved to demand a penny from him, despite the